Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Hey there.
Today we're digging into something pretty visible lately, the way occult and New Age ideas are showing up more and more in, well, just everyday culture.
Yeah, it feels like it's everywhere sometimes.
Right. So for this deep dive, we're mainly drawing from this really interesting interview on the CBN News YouTube channel. It's with someone who actually spent 20 years as a psychic medium.
2 decades,
Yeah.
before she completely changed her path.
Exactly. So our goal today is really to, unpack what she learned from that unique viewpoint, how these ideas spread, and maybe influence people, especially younger folks.
Okay.
What strikes you first about her perspective?
Well, the big thing for her main worry, seems to be just how easy it is now to access occult or New Age stuff.
Easier than ever before.
Oh, yeah. She really highlights social media as the main driver. It's just unprecedented, the level of access.
So it's not just available, it feels kind of normalized, like it's just part of the feed now.
That's exactly her point. It's not hidden anymore. She gives specific examples, too.
Like what?
Well, like on Instagram, she says there's a huge amount of content about crystals,
Yeah.
manifesting, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Then on TikTok, she points out you can find tarot readers, psychic mediums, like instantly.
Instantly.
Yeah, doing live readings. You just click a button. Or sometimes it just shows up as you're scrolling. It's right there.
Wow.
And she also brings up the music industry, the imagery used there.
Ah, right.
And even references in big events like the Grammys or the Olympics. She feels these are sort of trying to make Satan seem, I don't know.
Less threatening.
Yeah, like not real or maybe silly or just, entertainment.
Softening the edges, maybe?
That seems to be her interpretation, yeah. That it makes something she sees as very serious seem harmless.
It is pretty remarkable, isn't it, how quickly these topics they felt pretty fringe not that long ago, have just moved right into the mainstream. Makes you wonder about algorithms and how they just push this stuff into our feeds, almost like everyone's doing it.
Well, that leads right into our next point, which is about illusion and deception.
Okay, how so?
She argues that people get kind of misled by appearances. It's not always the obvious stuff.
Right, like she says someone might actively avoid, I don't know, someone who looks very gothic.
Exactly, or a witch coven, as she puts it. Yeah. Things that maybe look overtly dark or negative to them.
But then they might be totally open to something that looks more polished, more harmless on the surface.
Precisely. That's where it gets really interesting. She specifically mentions the big TV psychics.
Ah, yeah, like Teresa Caputo.
Her, the Long Island medium, yep.
Mhm.
Or Matt Frazier, Tyler Henry.
Mm-hmm.
They're all over platforms like Netflix, TLC.
Very visible.
And she observed, people will turn on TLC and watch Teresa Caputo.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's crying.
Right, there's a lot of emotion involved.
Huge emotion. But from her current perspective, her Christian viewpoint, she believes very firmly that it doesn't matter what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's the polished TV psychic or something else, she says they're all, and this is her phrase, talking to the same demons.
Wow, that's a very strong claim, connecting all these different practices under one umbrella, basically.
It's central to how she understands it now, yeah, based on her faith.
So, okay, that raises a question then. Why do people seek these things out? What's the pull, especially when, like you said, emotions are high? What about grief?
Yeah, she talks quite a bit about grief. She feels it's often, exploited in these situations.
Yeah.
These shows, these readings, she says they're tugging on heartstrings. They create this feeling, this perception that the psychics are genuinely helping people.
And she would know from her own experience.
Right. She even says, I thought I was helping people too, back when she was a medium. So it kind of speaks to the complicated motivations on both sides. The person seeking help and the person, like her former self, providing it.
Which brings us back to her story.
Yeah.
Spending decades, a couple of decades, really deep in that world as a psychic medium.
Yeah, fully immersed.
And then deciding to leave it all, that's quite a shift.
It is. Her journey led her to Christianity, and she felt this strong calling to speak out about her past.
Okay.
She describes it as needing to stand firm for Jesus Christ and be bold for the Lord. She really believes that God doesn't waste a moment of our life.
So using her past experiences for something new.
Exactly. Including what she now, through her faith, calls demonic oppression, which for her signifies a real spiritual battle she went through. She sees it all being used for a purpose now.
Serving in a different way.
Yeah. She calls it a privilege to serve now.
But speaking out like that, especially against things that are pretty popular culturally, or maybe against communities you used to belong to, That sounds, well, difficult. Does she talk about the challenges she's faced, like pushback?
She did mention a few things. Interestingly, she said she hasn't had, like, direct confrontations from psychics or mediums who are still practicing. She seemed grateful for that.
Okay.
But there was an incident. She mentioned a specific podcast called Playing with Fire that focused on yoga. Apparently, they found her podcast, and as she put it, they put her on blast on their show.
Oh, wow. So a direct public criticism? How did she handle that?
Well, she kind of frames it through her spiritual worldview again.
Huh.
She saw it as a distraction, like little things that the enemy will throw at us.
So try not to engage?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Her approach was just to block them and not get drawn in.
Oh,
She feels that, from her viewpoint, people criticizing her like that are basically deceived.
okay.
And she also just mentioned the general reality of online stuff, haters, comment sections.
Oh, yeah, the comment sections.
Her advice, never read the comment section, just straight up.
Probably good advice for many people online.
Probably. But despite all that, she says the work she does now is so rewarding. She calls it a privilege and a blessing.
So, thinking about all this, what does it all mean for you listening to this? What are the takeaways?
Well, I think her story really puts a spotlight on how pervasive these influences can be, right?
Yeah.
Often subtly, through media, through social feeds.
Things you might not even consciously register sometimes.
Exactly. And it definitely encourages, thinking critically when you come across narratives about helping or things presented just as entertainment.
Especially your point about appearances being deceptive.
Yeah, that's a big theme for her. What you see isn't always the whole story, according to her perspective.
Makes you pause and think about what you're consuming, maybe why you're drawn to it, and what the underlying message might be.
For sure. And, her sign-off on her YouTube videos is pretty powerful. She says, share the gospel because you have nothing to lose, but that soul has everything to gain.
That really sums up her commitment, doesn't it, to what she calls stand firm for the truth today.
It does. And it leaves a question for you, the listener, perhaps. In this world, just flooded with information, so many different viewpoints, how do you sort through it all? What ideas or beliefs do you choose to stand firm on? And what does that mean for how you see things?
A lot to think about there.
Definitely. And just one more thing for anyone who's maybe curious after hearing this, or maybe feels like they've gotten into horoscopes or other things and wants more info from her perspective, she does mention a website.
Oh, yeah.
It's www.exoxsave.com. So xsychicsave.com.